Hey guys, today I'm here with the Red Panda Bitmap version 2, and this is a bit crushing pedal, and as you heard from the opening, it sounds really awesome. Before I get started, I bought this with my own money, along with the other Red Panda pedals I've been displaying. It's just something I've been wanting for a while. I really wanted a bit crushing pedal, so I went with the Red Panda Bitmap version 2 since I have so many other Red Panda pedals, and I've been very happy with it. So I'm going to go over a few things on it. I'm not going to go over all the features of it because I don't really understand some of the features with the windowing functionality and the wave shaper just yet, and the manual hasn't been fully updated to include how those work completely, but the bass functionality and the bass LFO functionality are what I really like about it. So later I'll be using a drum machine, but first off I'm going to use my Minilogue XD since it's the only fully analog synth I have, so there won't be any D to A and A to D conversion internally. I'm not using any internal effects, so we can hear what it sounds like on a purely analog source. So in the opening I was using this patch. Turn up the octave here, but what we'll do is we'll go over some of the cool things it can do. So here's with the mix turned all the way up, and none of the functionality engaged yet. So let's start with bit crushing. As you can hear, towards the end of that, we get to a 1-bit style crushing, and that'll make it so nothing will really come through. And with it fully disengaged, you have just 24-bit through. And then the next thing we have is frequency control, and that is how much this crushes the frequency response. The other function we have is a 4-pole filter, low-pass filter, and it sounds fantastic, and it has no stair-stepping at all when you use it. It is resonant, but the only way you can get to the resonance control of that is by sending it MIDI information or via the web editor. I haven't tried that yet, but just as a standard filter, it sounds awesome, and the filter is great for taking off some of the aliasing that you're going to create by bit crushing. It also is great as a filter for things like drum machines that you may have that don't have a built-in filter. Or for synths like, let's say, a DX7 or an FM synth that doesn't have a filter. I mean, yeah, filtering in a sine wave won't do anything other than kill the amplitude of it, but if you're using a fully FM output where it's not a sine wave anymore, then it's a fantastic addition. So another functionality is the LFO, and by default the LFO is mapped to the frequency control. I think you can set it via the web editor to go to the filter or the mix level. So let's hear what that sounds like. I have it set in random right now. Let's turn that up. Let's do that. Turn the frequency down a little. Let's engage that filter a little. I think that sounds really cool. You also have an envelope control, and the envelope I will display a little more with the drum machine because it triggers a lot more consistently. And then the other thing that I didn't mention here is, let's bring this down. It also has a drive control that can act as another level of distortion, and it sounds really good. It's almost like brick walling distortion, but not as terrible. It's like throwing off the frequencies that can't push through, and it sounds really cool when you add some bit crushing to it. And then engage the filter. Especially when you add some reverb. And then we add a little bit of modulation to that. Make it really slow. waveform. That was in the random. We'll do a triangle. So that just, with all the functionality built into it, you can really shape your tone. It's especially fantastic with analog synths. It's especially good with any synth, but yeah, with the Minilogue here, I think it sounds gorgeous, especially when you have a good reverb at the end of it. So yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like on the Minilogue XD, and I'll be back here in a few seconds and we'll listen to what it sounds like on a drum machine. Alright, I'm back here with the DrumBrute Impact as the drum machine that I'm going to be using for this, and it sounds pretty cool. It's just an analog drum machine. It's a pretty good sounding one. I don't use it all that often. I really should. Let's listen to the dry signal. I got a 4 on the floor pattern with some shaker, like cymbal style stuff going. And let's engage the bitmap here. So it's not doing anything right now. Let's listen to what the filter sounds like on that. Pretty cool. There's the frequency crushing. And I think that's where it sounds awesome. Get some almost 8-bit style drums, NES style drums, or even Commodore 64 style drums. And then here's the bit crushing. We start getting a lot of noise when it goes down. So let's listen to the LFO. It sounds really cool in the random mode here. Let's see what the drive sounds like with the drum machine. Really cool. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, when you engage the drive, it gives you a temporary VU meter to see how much drive you're using. I think that's a really cool UI thing. These pedals just look fantastic, but yeah, that's really cool. Alright, let's listen to the envelope. I'm going to turn the frequency down a little bit here. And yeah, so we engage the envelope here, and now it's going down, so every time it hits, well, let's actually turn this off. No envelope. You can hear when it triggers, the frequency goes down in terms of the bit crushing for that, or frequency crushing. Now we have mix. And now we have frequency. I guess mix we can hear if I turn this down. So there should be no mix, but if I engage the envelope, kind of sounds like a pumping style side chaining almost. Not exactly, but still pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna engage some reverb just to make it a little less dry. But yeah, let's listen to the random LFO again on drums. So yeah, that's just wild. I think it sounds really cool. Yeah, so it really adds some flavor to a drum machine. Let's add some randomness from the drum machine itself. A little bit of distortion going into it. So yeah, it works great on analog synths, drum machines. It also works great on digital synths. I mean, it's just such a versatile pedal. I did look at some other bit crushers, but this really came out on top of what I needed it to do, and it has the best looking interface out of all of them. And yeah, I just really like it. I hope this helped you figure out if this is a bit crusher that you're looking for or something along those lines. The other bit crushers I was looking at were the Maris Autobit Junior. That one's interesting in itself. That has a stutter effect, which is pretty cool. And the Electro-Harmonix mainframe looked kind of cool, but I've read a few people saying that it's just not all that hot. So this is fantastic. Thanks for watching.